From Ralph Cramden to the showers. Get out by Thursday. Anyway, sunshine. Well, a bit of it anyway. 67 degrees, 5 minutes after 3 o'clock in the, we are in the afternoon, aren't we? I certainly hope so for my sake. Get ready, get ready, get ready for the greatest talk show in the history of the world. Let me hear that band. Come on, let me hear you. This is Jersey! Loud! You gotta play loud! All right, here we are. Pardon me, up to the 27th of March. By the way, I'm very disappointed. Apparently the Ten Commandments are not going to be on this year. They've done a mini-series, 10 Commandments or something, but we're not going to see the original with Chuck Heston and the gang. At least that's what somebody told me. True or false, I'm not sure, but I know it certainly puts a damper on my holiday spirits. Yeah, right.
It just isn't this time of year without it.
Exactly. Easter isn't Easter without Peter Cottontail and Edward G. Robinson walking around going, "You're going to do it my way. See, that Moses is a mug." Anyway, who has a birthday today? Who cares? I don't either, but we got to do something. Michael York is 65 years of age. 44, Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino did one great movie, Pulp Fiction. And the one he did before that, how was it? It's not Straw Dogs, Reservoir Dogs, was okay. But everything this guy's done since, Kill Bill, which, just awful. But for Pulp Fiction, I will forever love him. Who else has a birthday? The Divine One, the late great Sarah Vaughan, who had more octaves, 3 octaves. That woman could sing anywhere. God, she recorded back in the 40s with, Loverman. With Dizzy Gillespie. Did a lot of stuff with Diz and a whole host of other people. Anyway, 1924 to 1990, the great Sarah Vaughan. Maria Schneider, she was the girl who was so brilliant opposite Brando in one of my all-time favorite movies, which is Last Tango in Paris. She is now 55 years of age, and I'm a liberated male, liberated enough to tell you when I think another man is a hottie. I hate that word, though, hottie. It just sounds so stupid.
Sounds like juvenile.
Yeah. He's a hottie. What about a cold? Do you want a wet one? Anyway. A wet one is a beer, I think. Anyway, is that what they call that? Let's get a wet one? Yeah, when you go for beer, say, hey, let's go for a wet one. In New York, when you go out for breakfast, they don't say, let's go for breakfast. They say, let's go for eggs. And I'm saying to myself, I suppose I don't want eggs. Yeah, but let's go for eggs. Late night snack or breakfast in New York is let's go for eggs. And a wet one is a beer. Wet your whistle. Anyway, the sexy guy was a man named David Jansen, the fugitive. He died at the age of 50. He was bad boozer, very bad boozer, smoked like a chimney. And
what did he say he was born?
1930 to 1980.
Wow.
And The Fugitive, which was on in the 60s, was something that was religion on Tuesday night from 10 o'clock until 11. I think the show was on 5 years. It died rather quickly, 62 to 67, something like that. And they had the famous 2-part episode where he winds up with Diane Baker, who was the lady who played the senator, by the way, in Silence of the Lambs, just to get a frame of reference. Diane Baker was gorgeous. Still looks pretty good, too. She was on Law & Order not too long ago. But anyway, he winds up with her, and Phil Gerard wound up shooting the one-armed man, and then they made the movie, which was an excellent movie, but other than the, the plot of the thing being the same, there ended the comparison between the television show and the movie. But I ain't kidding when I say that was religion with me on a Tuesday night. No matter what was going on, you stayed home to watch Dr. Richard Kimball. And this last 2-part episode with Diane Baker was the highest-rated television program in history up to that point in time. He had big ears. They told him his ears were too big. They said that to Clint Eastwood, too. Told him his ears were too big, yada, 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 but the guy had it. He really and truly had it. Speaking of big, Ron Jeremy, remember when Ron was here a few weeks ago, we had pictures taken. I had pictures taken. And I finally, and I bought one of those cheapy, $15 cameras, which takes about 32 photos. Now, you guys with kids and whatever, you got your telephone, you probably take a picture of your kid every 5 seconds. You probably have video of one kind or another every second of your child's life. which is probably not a bad idea, but you're going to really look at it 40 years from now when you're estranged from your kid and he's cutting off the oxygen supply going, where's the money? Because you never paid for his college tuition. But anyway, I get the cheapy camera, 32 pictures. I don't have a lot of pictures to take because I don't see anybody. I don't go nowhere. So I took the pictures with Ron Jeremy, about 4 different pictures. Then I took pictures with everybody here at the radio station. I still had about 20 pictures to take. So I took pictures at the Rusty Nail. I took pictures of the light on Lincoln Avenue. I took pictures waiting at the McKees Rocks Bridge. Anything to go through the pictures because I wanted to see these pictures of Big Rod.
What did you get? Did you take the one of the same light that always holds you up?
The one I take. I have a picture. I have a picture of North Balf Avenue, just a sign, and I have a picture of me swearing at the McKees Rocks Bridge, and because I always get nailed there as the fumes from Alcacid are taking care of what I left of my lungs.
At least pictures don't come with fumes, or else
exactly.
Or else we'd have Alka-San stinking up this station.
And I went to the little place I go, the little convenience store. I had pictures taken with Jeannie, the girl there, all these other. I wanted to see these pictures. So I still wound up. I still had about 6 pictures left. I wanted to get these. I had dinner with my buddy Zip tonight. I want to show him pictures. Plus, you gave me a copy of the interview, and I'm going to give Zip the interview because he didn't hear it. And so I had 6 pictures taken. So I went out on my little balcony today and took pictures of the street I live on. I got pictures of 4 squirrels doing things that Ron Jeremy does on screen, ladies and gentlemen. Squirrel porn. But anyway, I finally get the pictures taken. And I go to one of those places in the drugstore, the 1-hour photo thing. And I go back about an hour later, and there are the pictures. I take the pictures to the car. And the only ones I took some pictures with Chili, too, that were really cool. Anyway, I get to the car, and I look through the pictures. And I think we took 4 pictures with Ron Jeremy. Well, there were only 2 pictures there. And my favorite picture, the one I was really counting on, the one I wanted to have blown up, wasn't there. So now I have to go looking through the negatives to see, maybe the picture wasn't taken or it was blown out or whatever. You ever tried to look at those damn negatives up in the sunlight? That ain't easy trying to figure anything out. Anyway, I found the picture that I did not get, which was my favorite picture. And essentially it's Ron Jeremy and I comparing manhood, all right? It's a gag shot that Ron Jeremy has taken with Brad Pitt and Sammy. It's in this book. There are like 40 pictures of Ron Jeremy with these different guys. Well, this is the one I wanted. This it was well done. I want to have it blown up. So, sure enough, that picture's not there. And I go through all of the negatives trying to find whatever, and it turns out that there was that picture. In other words, wasn't destroyed. They just never gave me the picture.
Just never gave it. Yeah.
So I went back in. I told the guy, and the guy did get me the picture. And it is that's the one I showed you, and I'm going to have that one enlarged, okay? A few other things I should have enlarged.
On your wall
I was going to say a few other things I should have enlarged along with it, but anyway, we're going to have that on my wall of kits. It's a great shot. Oh, man. And I got to tell you something. He may have that, but boy, is he ugly. Oh, man, is he. And, of course, they don't care, nor should he. So I got that taken care of. Then I had a really cool conversation with, ran into my former wife's daughter. I hadn't seen her in years. This is one of several daughters, and we had a really nice conversation. What a good kid she has turned into, and a good adult. She's not a child anymore. We basically spent 45 minutes telling war stories. And the sad thing is I'm not making that up. What else? Tony Snow, the cancer has spread from what to the liver? I'm a little unclear.
His colon cancer
to the liver.
That he was diagnosed with a couple of years ago. That went into remission, but apparently it has spread to his liver.
God. I think that's what happened to Joe Dugan, the late Joe Dugan. Well, Snow never looked particularly healthy. Hasn't looked particularly healthy since the first diagnosis. And I did not see the press conference today. And again, whatever you may think of the man's politics is irrelevant. We're talking a life and death situation for the guy. Certainly do wish him well. Speaking of that, I'm going to do something I never thought I would get around to doing, and that is defending Katie Couric's interview with John Edwards. The blogs and some of the opinion writers have been ripping her for having been too hard on John Edwards. if Katie Couric had not asked those questions, political gain questions, she asked them in a respectful fashion from what I could see from the transcript, people would have been all over her for giving him a softball interview. She asked, I can't see any inappropriate question that Katie Couric asked. In fact, she asked the questions truthfully that I think anybody in his right mind would have asked, because of the timing of it and the way they played it for all it's worth, etc. It was a respectful interview from what I can see reading the transcript, but nothing the matter with it. So you have to defend when somebody's worthy of defense. Simple as that. Who died today? Billy Wilder, the great director, in 2002. Dudley Moore, 2002. Ron Jeremy's idol, Milton Berle, died in just showing up to win, Milton. Let's see, who else died? Aldo Ray in 91. Whenever they needed a Marine, the guy to play a Marine, they'd say, call Aldo Ray, and Aldo would come in. He made a porn movie, too, which had nothing to do with the Marines. And Diana Hyland died. Everybody know what Diana Hyland's boyfriend was when she died? 3 rooms of carpeting, gift selection from the Spiegel catalog. Diana Hyland was an actress. She was on a show called 8 is Enough. She died in 1977 at the age of 41. Boy, she'd been gone a long time. But she had a very famous boyfriend, and they had a really neat relationship. It was noteworthy because the boyfriend was A, famous, and B, younger than her by quite a number of years. And as one who has had relationships when I was quite young with older women, I understood it. Let's just leave it at that. But anyway, for 3 rooms of carpeting, gift selection from the Spiegel catalog, the famous, and I do mean very famous, boyfriend of Diana Hyland, and I had a major crush on her, too. She was one of those women, Diana Hyland, Shirley Knight, who's now weighs 400 pounds, used to be on The Fugitive all the time, Shirley Knight, Susan Oliver, she's also dead, Ina Balin, who's also dead. Who was the other girl I liked so much? Joan Hackett was on The Fugitive. Another one who died. They all died young. They all died of cancer, too. Joanne, Bethel Park. Hi there. You're on AM News Talk 1360.
Yeah, hi, Doug. Was it John Travolta?
Yeah, 1977. John Travolta couldn't have been any more than 24, 25 years of age. And
she was much older.
Yeah, she was 41. And they had a really neat relationship. In fact, if memory serves me correctly, she died in his arms. Mm-hmm. And if memory serves me correctly, to take it one step further, there was quite a period of mourning for him after that. Mm-hmm. Apparently a good guy. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. That's who it was. Indeed. Let's see. I don't know if anybody wants to rip on Katie for that Edwards interview. I'll be happy to. Be happy to defend her. Now, this was interesting. You know, Cyril yesterday was on the show for like about 5 minutes, explaining the Anna Nicole Smith autopsy and what it meant. And he said that they would still be trying to make something out of nothing during the nighttime talk shows. Not that Cyril's never tried to make something out of nothing before, but he was right. They tried their bleepingest to bring something nefarious and criminal into this thing. And frankly, you could have listened to the 5-minute interview that I did with Cyril yesterday and not listened to another word. And you would have found out everything you needed to know, or everything that was pertinent apropos Anna Nicole Smith's death. The broad OD'd accidentally. She had too damn many prescriptions. She apparently was going to this doctor, that doctor, and the other doctor, because no doctor in his right mind would have given her all that crap. And people do this all the time. And as guys last night said all over the place, as Cyril said on the show yesterday, this is the second or third leading cause of death. Drug overdose, accidental, because people mix medications. She had a number of this, a number of that, a number of the other thing, blah, 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 blah. And let's be honest about it. The woman, if you ever saw that godforsaken reality show, when I saw it, number one, I wanted to take a bath because she disgusted me in every way, shape, or form. Living or dead, she is still a disgusting creature. Quite frankly, she's a pig. Let's be honest about it. We didn't lose Winston Churchill here. You know, we lost Anna Nicole Smith. She was a slob and a slut and every other godforsaken thing. And you're sorry the woman is dead, but and getting back to whatever, and even I said, dummy that I am, weeks ago, come on, man, all the crap she was taking, it's a wonder that she lasted as long as she did. But sure enough, Greta and all these other ones, I had them on for like 2 minutes just to see what was what, and then I realized This is why they invented God, so God could invent the computer. Paul in Westwood, hello.
Hi, Doug.
Yeah.
You just brought up one of my idols. I can't believe it. I was in the room and I heard, I swear to God, I heard Aldo Ray.
Well, not everybody knows
Come
Aldo or
on.
appreciates, or if, like you, has him as an idol. You're a smart guy. Aldo Ray was a great man.
You know, he was the first and only actor kicked out of the Screen Actors Guild, you know.
I didn't know that. What did he do?
So many non-union features. That porno movie, Sweet Savage, I saw that. That got him in trouble.
Oh, was that a hardcore film, by the way?
Yes.
Was it really?
He wasn't in it long, but he got pushed out a window, but he was going to get ready to have
Oh, okay.
sex.
Well, the guy was a bad boozer. Number one, real bad. I think it was the
Yeah.
booze that killed him.
Alcohol,
It was
yeah,
booze and cigarettes, a la David Jansen. Me, let me cigarettes. And the other thing that last time I saw him, he was playing a Boy Scout leader on some weird commercial or something like that.
And he has a lookalike son, you know. He was on Twin Peaks, Eric DeRay.
Oh, really?
He is a duplicate of Aldo. As
I'm
far
a
as,
son of a gun. That's interesting.
Unbelievable.
Well, but today is the day we all mourn the death of Aldo Ray. There was a story on the Wire today about some chick I never heard of, and I don't want you to go back to the story. It was on page 6 of the Post. But this young actress, whoever she is, an actress on the way up, so to speak, she had to film the sex scene with her co-star, obviously, and her father insisted on being on the set. Now, the father married, and now let me see if anybody knows in the crowd knows this one. The father was married to a chick named Carol Connor. I think that was it. Yeah, Carol Connor. Anybody know who she is? This guy was married. He met this chick. He met this Carol Connor on a movie set, and they married. And they had this daughter. And it was a really sick story about the father was there, and he was telling her how to do this and do that, and yada, yada, yada. But if you know who this Carol Connor chick is, back in the, 70s, I'll give you a clue. She, among other things, was one of the girls you'd see on occasion on The Gong Show. Blonde chick. Does that ring a bell with you in the other room? Anyway, she was famous for something else. If you know what I'm talking about, 333-1360, 412, the air code. By the way, I didn't mean to engage in an Anna Nicole Smith name-calling contest, but I probably went too far. But she was a slut and a pig. I mean, come on. Death doesn't change what you are in life. She also didn't make it... she died at 40, I guess, right? Or something like that. And I think Monroe died 36, I want to say, 37 years of age, something like that. Anyway, so anybody know who this Carol Connor is? Come on, smartest audience in the world here. 333-1360, 412 the area code, pound 1360 if you have Verizon. In the meantime, the next stop for former Vice President Gore, according to certain critics, the next stop for President Gore to save the planet from climate change ought to be to the countless cattle farms in his home state of Tennessee. While we don't have an exact head count of cows currently chewing cud in Tennessee, we have confirmed more than 5,100 members of the Tennessee Cattlemen's Association, each doing their share to supply Big Macs and Whoppers to the country's food chains. Enter Kate Connolly of Britain's Guardian newspaper, who writes that if members of the public really want to tackle global warming, stop your local cow from burping and doing other. This is true. Methane gas produced by cows. Ooh, there goes one now. Ooh, Greg, open the window. Methane gas produced by cows is responsible for 4% of greenhouse emissions. So the next time you see a cow lift his tail, baby, you might want to give Al a call. And I'll continue the story in a second, but I want to go back to some of my sick audience who knows Carol Connor. Go ahead, Ben. Ben, are you there? Yes, Ben, go ahead.
It's Jeff in Southside.
Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry. Hello, Jeff.
That's okay. How you doing? I just got back from Meineke. I was putting a muffler on my cow.
Good shot.
Carol Connor, you said she was famous for something else, and she died young. Are you?
No. She didn't die. She's alive.
Oh, my bad, then. I thought you were talking about Carol Wayne.
No, Carol Wayne was the tea time lady on the Tonight Show. Another blonde.
And she was also on the Gong Show a couple of times, and she was on Celebrity Sweepstakes or something.
And she
okay.
And just to completely bore you, she had a very fine singer sister who I haven't seen in years named Nina Wayne, who also was blonde, but she wore hair like Jane Fonda. That same kind of Jane Fonda cut, that shag cut in the back. No, this is not Carol Wayne. This is another Carol.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. Dawn in Pittsburgh. Hi there.
Yeah, Doug, what's happening?
Not much, baby.
Doug, the prior caller just stole my thunder because I thought it was Carol Wayne.
Oh, no.
Well,
Carol
with
Connor.
Another movie name.
Carol Connor was the second, only I would know this, I'm embarrassed to admit it. Carol Connor was the second lead female in Deep Throat. And when she wasn't doing that, she was gonging on the Gong Show.
Well,
in fact, you know what they did her one night? They gang-gonged her one night.
They gang-gonged her. But Carol Wayne was memorable in her own right.
Well, of course she was.
Quite a good sidekick for Johnny Carson.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Carson's Best Of on DVD, and I check it out every time.
Oh, yeah.
She played the movie time gal well. May she rest in peace.
She was the tea time lady, and I'm Art Fern. No, Carol Connor was on the Gong Show. I asked her, Rip Taylor, that's a Rip Taylor line. I asked Rip Taylor one time, the one time I had him on, I said, what is the strangest thing that ever happened on the Gong Show? He said, the night we gang-gonged J.P. Morgan. Someday I got to play the thing for you, man. You want to talk about surprises? Anyway, this Carol Connor was in Deep Throat, and she married this guy that she met on the set of Deep Throat, which was in a motel room in Miami, and they had this child who was now something of a movie star. Anyway, where was I? Rip Taylor. What the heck was it? Something about Rip Taylor. Doggone, I can't think of what it was. That's going to drive me. Oh, I know what it was. I interviewed Rip Taylor. This is 100 years ago, 1982. And when I was doing nights, 7 to midnight, 100 years ago in Pittsburgh, which I would love to do again if I was on a radio station that had a signal. Lawrence and I, man, 5 hours a night. Just let us do it. We'll own the town. Anyway, where was I? I used to do these talent shows. People would call and sing and play instruments, and guys had banjos, harmonicas. This is like 9, 10 o'clock on a weekday night. It was the coolest thing in the world. I still have some tapes of this stuff. One guy wrote this song that went on for like 8 minutes, and he played it with an organ. It was called Insect Love, how he loved bugs. Guy was strange. And another guy calls from a telephone booth, and he starts singing a song called Gloria. Gloria is the street corner national anthem. And I always wondered, here's this guy, he put the money in, and he starts saying, Gloria, if not Marie. And he's singing it loud, and he's singing it well. And all I could think of were people passing by, hearing this guy inside the phone booth singing Gloria, and wondering what in the hell was going on. Well, anyway, I have Rip Taylor up. Now I have to back up. On one of these talent shows, a guy called from West Virginia, no less, and the guy had a real voice like this. And he had the personality, or so it seemed, the personality of a dead amoeba. The guy gets on the phone and says, I do impressions. Really? I said, really? He says, yeah, I'd like to do for you my favorite comedian, Rip Taylor. And I'm saying to myself, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to stink. So my best Bogart impression, I said, all right, let's hear Rip. This guy came on. Hello, I'm Rip Taylor. He did 90 seconds. The guy was great. He had it nailed. So when I had Rip Taylor on the show, naturally I played this for Rip Taylor, and Rip Taylor said he needs new material. Come, tell him to come and see my act. It was just the coolest thing in the world. What do you want to say? Yeah, the headphones on.
I know where
I know where I am, Doug. Good God. Well, he was in a movie with Linda Lovelace. Now, you've heard of what is the name of that? The bleep monologues. You know, the bleep monologue that everybody. Yeah. You know, and I don't like to say the word because I just find it gratuitous to say the word. It's just not a word I want to say. Mm-hmm. But what people don't realize, and maybe I don't know who the name of the lady is who wrote that the V monologues, but that was done in movie form 25 years ago with Rip Taylor. Rip Taylor was in a movie that dealt with the same subject, albeit from a comedic perspective. I won't even give you the name of the film. And Linda Lovelace was his co-star.
Wow.
And I asked Rip Taylor, I said, is it impolite to mention the movie? And he said to me, why do you mention filth on the radio? He says, I thought it was going to be homespun arsenic and old lace. I mean, a thing that talks. I don't understand this. 3:30 on AM News Talk 1360. All right, 3:35 AM News Talk 1360. The lovely Lisa Pelkey has returned from Amsterdam. Is where you were?
From all over. I visited 5 countries.
Really?
Yeah.
And you weren't gone that long, though, really.
Huh?
How long were you gone?
I was 11 days.
11 days?
Yeah.
So what else did you visit besides Holland?
We landed in London, drove through France and Belgium, up to Holland, and we stayed for a bit in Belgium and took a day trip over to Germany.
So you spent how many days in Holland?
About 3.
Did you like it?
I liked it. It was major culture shock, though.
Why?
Why? Can I say this on the radio?
We'll find out. Be euphemistic. You went to college.
Scantily clad women selling certain wares in windows.
Oh, well, prostitution is quite legal. It's a very libertarian. It's a very libertarian country, which is why. I am trying to get this woman on who wrote this book, Infidel. This is the woman with the Dutch filmmaker. I don't know if you know the story or not. The Dutch filmmaker made the story criticizing Islam with regard to women. This guy's killed and the woman is threatened and she's thrown out of Amsterdam, which is a frightening proposition because of the libertarian nature of that country. They are quite possibly the most libertarian country on the face of the earth.
They were really relaxed.
Which is what I love about the country.
They were very, and clean and intelligent and nice people overall, and they had bike trails everywhere.
And their attitude to everything, including sex and what is and what isn't, is just so incredibly different. They very secular country too. Oh, I like Holland.
I think there's a lot of moderation too. They had a good sense of moderation, like as long as things were done responsibly. Well,
that's the point.
Yeah, they didn't really. They weren't into narcotics. They didn't advocate
the narcotics
the use of narcotics.
Narcotics are legal.
But you weren't allowed to do them publicly or anything. It wasn't.
I thought you were allowed to do it in the. I thought you were allowed to do it in certain cafes. I thought where you could smoke.
I didn't see any of that. But
well, you weren't there, so you wouldn't know that.
Right,
I mean, you don't smoke. Well, what you do, I don't want to know about that. But the point is, but you didn't see any of the dykes and the guy. The old story about the guy with his finger and all. You don't remember that?
No dykes
None
with fingers.
Is that is below sea level though, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So you like my pictures with me and Ron Jeremy?
You look like you're making out with Ron here in this.
I am making out with Ron. Here's
you're in love with this man.
Here's my personal favorite of Ron Jeremy. You didn't see that one.
Oh, no. Look at you.
Yes, look at me. What a lie.
He looks kind of pained. Like, I can't believe you're making me do this, but I will.
No. He takes those pictures with everybody. That's his gag photo.
There
are pictures of him in his book. There are pictures of him with Brad Pitt like that, Sammy Jackson.
And what are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing, you dummy? You can't figure that out? Either you're playing stupid or you didn't learn anything in Holland. One or the other. I don't know which. My God.
I knew it.
You did know. I thought you knew. I thought that you had a feeling. I didn't know for sure, but I just thought I would.
Caught a fish.
Yeah, I just thought I would. You've caught a fish. Yeah, right. That's right. That's right.
Uh-huh.
My fish is bigger than your fish. I totally forgot about that. So anyway, where else did you go where you were able to form an impression? Belgium. We rented. I was with a group of like 10 or 11 people, and we rented this large mansion in a small village in Belgium. We took day trips, and that was our home base. And that was really, really neat. It was huge. Just everyone had their own room, their own bathroom. It was like built initially, I think, in the 1600s. Yeah, it was cool. We drove through Brussels, which is insane. Why?
It's a hodgepodge city. Like half the city.
Let me jump in. Does everybody driving in Holland and all the other countries? Everybody drives on the left-hand side of the road.
Right side.
They all drive on the right?
They all drive on like we do on the right-hand side of the road. Only in England, it's on the left-hand side.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought of all of Europe drove on the left-hand side.
And my crazy friend, we rented a car in London, so he was driving on the right-hand side of the car, wrong side of the road, and then we get over to
I could never do that.
Europe, and he's driving on the right-hand side of the car, right side of the road.
Well, this figures.
Driving stick, and all the signs are just confusing. We have no idea what we're doing, and didn't get lost or anything.
So where are you going next? As one who doesn't travel, I'm
where
not
am
a
I
traveler.
going next? Hopefully it'll be on tour at some point.
Oh, okay, with the rock and roll band.
Yeah, right.
Well, nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Good seeing you. 20 minutes before 4 o'clock, AM News Talk 1360. Did you pull up that picture in the other room of Malkin? If you want to get a laugh, Michelle Malkin, who is gorgeous, and there was a right-wing loon, and who they're trying to turn into a television star, and it ain't going to happen because she's beautiful, but I swear she's a ditz. Anyway, she has her own website, and it's your typical right-wing firecracker website. But I look at it because I look at everything. There was a picture taken a couple of years ago, I guess, when Hillary was in Iraq. You got the picture I'm talking about with Hillary and the soldier? You want to explain that picture for those who do not who cannot see through the radio as to what it is we're looking at?
All I can is
you can't see where the guy's finger is.
Yeah,
that was the joke. Yeah,
it's got the circle. It's got the
yeah,
red circle.
This military guy took a picture with Hillary. I believe it is Iraq, and the guy did the same thing that I did when we took that class photo of the play that I was in. All right? Except this guy was a little more subtle. You see, you got to look under michellemalkin.com. I guess is her address,
that
okay? And you can, the guy's third finger is just in kind of a funny position whereby you can tell what he thinks of Hillary Clinton as he's posed with her. But what's even funnier is you say, well, the finger's like that accidentally. He's not really trying to say something. Check the look on his face. Look at the look on his face, and you can tell by the look on his face that, oh, boy, I can't wait until they publish this in Stars and Stripes, man. It is so cool. Because it's worth my retelling the story. I was in this play. I had the smallest role in the play, and I had to go to these damn rehearsals every night. I hated every second of them, but my mother wouldn't let me quit. They take this cast photo on stage. I'm sitting on stage. There were people behind me. I'm sitting. My legs are dangling over so you can see my knees. And on each one of my knees, my left knee and my right knee, there is my third finger, okay, resting atop my knee, my third finger extended. This guy's is only half extended. Well, I did it to show my disdain at having blown half my life away going to these stupid rehearsals. But the funniest part of it was when the thing hit the newspaper in the school, I was the head of the school. And everybody kept coming over. Geez, look. I said, I don't know. My fingers must have just been planted that way. And I could imagine this guy, because just look on his face. He's saying, oh, man, when they see this back home, they're going to go nuts.
Yeah, but he didn't have to get called into Mr. Skank's office.
That's true. Mr. Skank used to call me in quite a bit. He didn't call me in for that thing. Mr. Skank was our vice principal. Our principal's name was Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf, can you imagine? No, Mr. Skank was the principal. I'm sorry. Mr. Wolf was the vice principal and football coach, and still is. He is in his something like 48 years.
48 years in one place.
As a football coach.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, he's not the champ. There's another guy. They printed this thing in USA Today of these coaches who have been there, for such and such a period of time. And I think the lead guy somewhere is like in his 60th year, and Warren Wolf is like number 5 around the country.
Wow.
Is it 40, something like 46, 47, or 48 years? Yeah. Isn't that something? Imagine that, the same place. Whoa. But we had Mr. Skank was the principal, and Mr. Wolf became the vice principal after he took over from Mr. Kohler. We used to call him Cozy Kohler after Cozy Cole.
Cozy Cole, yeah.
And, oh, well, never forget about that. Anyway, I want to go back to this thing with Gore. The next stop for Gore in his campaign to save the planet from climate change ought to be the countless cattle farms in his home state of Tennessee. While we don't have an exact head count of cows currently chewing cud in Tennessee, we've confirmed more than 5,100 members of the Tennessee Cattlemen's Association, each doing their share to supply Big Macs and Whoppers to the country's fast food chains. Cutting out of Kate Connolly of the British Guardian, which is a newspaper, who writes that if members of the public really want to tackle global warming, you should stop your local cow from burping. And this is true. Methane gas. Now, they say burping. I assume they mean something else, all right? We didn't call it burping where I came from. We would just say, hey, pull my finger. Did you ever get that? Yeah, pull my finger. Methane gas produced by cows is responsible for 4% of greenhouse gas emissions. Now, the part I don't understand is, why do they call it greenhouse gas? That doesn't make any sense to me. Greenhouse gas? Where does the greenhouse effect come into that? Maybe there's a scientist out there who can understand that. They call it greenhouse gas emissions. And with meat consumption growing, that percentage is set to rise even further. Concerned by the increased discharge, German scientists have invented a fist-sized plant-based pill. Let me repeat that in English. They have invented a fist-sized plant-based pill to cut bovine or bovine burping. Our aim is to increase the well-being of the cow, to reduce the greenhouse gases produced, and to increase agricultural production all at once. So said Winifred Drachner at the University of Hohenheim in Stuttgart, who went on to say, "You have relatives living in Germany near a cow?" But anyway, that's the deal. Wall Street Journal actually did a whole story on this too, where the cows, I guess, like everybody else, for every action there's a reaction, and you can imagine, right, with a cow, we're not we're talking a champ here. So Senator Gore, get to work. Joe, hello there.
Hey, Doug, they call them greenhouse gases because when they're released into the atmosphere and the sun shines through them...
Are you putting me on?
No.
Oh, really?
What happens is the sun can't... They create a barrier kind of like a greenhouse. The heat comes in, and then the heat from the sun can't escape.
See, every time when you tell me that...
There's a barrier in the atmosphere created by these gases.
Okay, well, when you said
so
that...
it works like it creates a greenhouse effect.
Back up. Say that again, because I'm not sure that I understood what you said. Seriously.
Okay. When carbon dioxide is emitted into the atmosphere, it creates a layer in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
When the sun shines through it, the heat, it's harder for the heat to escape through that layer of carbon dioxide, so it acts like a greenhouse. The heat comes in, but then the heat can't get out as quickly as otherwise might.
Okay. Now I understand. Okay, a greenhouse.
Any gas that accumulates in the atmosphere and causes that is considered to be a greenhouse gas.
I see. Well, I started to sing the Age of Aquarius. Let the sun shine. I have a little bit of a problem. Okay, thank you for that. That makes there comes your greenhouse, right, PJ?
You got it, buddy. Hey, methane's a lot worse than CO2, though.
And I haven't asked a stupid question. What is CO2?
Carbon dioxide.
Well, carbon dioxide. Oh, okay, carbon. But what is it? What causes carbon? That's gas, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, gasoline.
It's given off. When a plant grows, it absorbs carbon. The carbon is the basis for all life in the universe.
Yeah.
and it absorbs it when a plant grows. It contains, it absorbs it from the atmosphere. Well, when you burn that, or like a fossil fuel, you're releasing that carbon that was sucked up by the living thing.
Well, it's kind of scary here. If there are that many cows in Tennessee, this would require Vice President Gore to become a vegetarian.
Well, actually, you know what, Doug? I've been a vegetarian for 2.5 months because of that exact issue.
Well, good for you, but if you've taken a good look at Senator Gore lately, his becoming a vegetarian, pal, you're going to have to give him one hell of a lot of meat.
No, you know what? You got to be careful when you're a vegetarian because of carbohydrates. It makes you puff up like that.
Well, that I didn't know, but I'll tell you something to be careful of, and I'm not kidding when I say this. I dated a girl. It was a lunatic, as a matter of fact. And
as are most vegetarians.
She wasn't. Believe me, she was a lunatic.
That's lack of license.
She was a major babe, but she was a lunatic. But I should have known there was a problem because she was a vegetarian, and I swear to God, she had vegetable breath. She really did. I said to her one time, I said, "You been eating spinach?"
Did you ever go in a health food store and see the vegetarians?
And she said,
they look
"Why?"
Like zombies.
And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I'll be honest with you. That I feel as though I'm kissing spinach, and I don't like spinach." So I gave her the Listerine, and everything was fine from that point on. So be careful. Are you a married guy?
Yeah, I am.
Well, see, the wife starts getting a headache. You'll know. Take care. Bye-bye. 333-1360-412 the area. Oh, leave it to Danny in the truck to know about cows. Go ahead, Dan.
No, it's not about the cow. It's about the soldier and Mrs. Clinton, that picture you said you had there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a gesture. That's a signal. He's giving a signal to other people say he were a POW.
Yeah.
That's a signal telling him that he's being forced to do this.
Well, okay, I remember what you're talking about was the Pueblo when those guys had the picture taken, this is back in 68, 69, Lloyd Bucher and those folks, they did the exact same thing. They all shot the finger, and they also were beaten once they found out what it was for. You could be right about that, but to me, whatever the reason behind it, again, that the guy did essentially the same thing I did at that high school play. I didn't say I was a prisoner. I was just basically saying bleep you to everybody.
Yeah, but that's what, and if he were in captivity, and he was, say they were telling him to do something, and he gave this gesture, it's to tell them that I am being forced to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this willingly.
I see. All right. I thought it meant he had gas. I wasn't really sure. But anyway, thank you, Dan. Yeah. So anyway, let's go back to this here. So again, cows. Not really. I'm not making this up here. The Wall Street Journal. This is not for the Wall Street Journal. You want to tackle global warming, you got to stop your local cow from burping. Methane gas produced by cows. Why don't they just change their diet? Maybe that's the problem. Why don't they change their diet? I mean, what a cow... I don't even know what a cow eats. I have no idea. Whenever I saw a cow, they were eating grass. And they always looked disgusting. And their tail was always waving away flies. You ever see a bunch of cows? Like, kind of goofy looking. I wonder how cows... I don't want pictures, so please don't send me any pictures, but... certain animals, if you watch the Animal Planet channel, which is basically animal porn, because that's all you see. Gorillas, bees do it, even an ugly gorilla does it, that sort of thing. But cows, I don't get that. I mean, it would seem to me a very difficult process, sort of like two fat people. Don't send the pictures, man, but she's 400 pounds and he's 500. I don't want to know about that. Anyway, to come back to it, the cows, it would just seem to me if you had them, like change, maybe give them, I don't know, no gum. Gum will just make it worse. All right, so now that we've killed that one, let's see what else is going on here. I mentioned Tony Snow, and if anyone did see that Katie Couric interview with Edwards, I would love to hear from you because again, she's taking a lot of heat for it. And I would suggest to you undeservedly so. Somebody also wanted to know about Helen Thomas. What does she do? Helen Thomas writes a syndicated column for some service that I've never heard of. And you can get it on Drudge as well. I read it a couple of times, and it's just a usual left-wing blather with a lot of anti-Israel thrown in for good measure. She is of Lebanese extraction, as I recall, and... very, very anti-Israel, which is not the same as being anti-Semitic. Dr. Wecht would somehow have you think differently. Let's do you want to kill the top 10 real quick? Because now we have the time. 1997. Number one record to stay in 97 is Wannabe.
Spice Girls.
Very good. I Believe I Can Fly.
R. Kelly.
Very good. Don't Let Go, and then in parentheses, Love.
Oh, I should know this. And
On Vogue.
On Vogue, yeah.
Number 4, Unbreak My Heart.
Tony Braxton.
Tony Braxton. Number 5, For You, I Will.
Monica.
Monica. See, you said you stink at these. You're doing good. Almost done with these.
Well, it helps to work down the hall, but...
That's true. Yes. The wish factor. Now, Ed and Lance are coming on, so I'll have to do like 1976 tomorrow for these guys. 1998, Frozen.
Madonna.
Nice and Slow.
That I don't know.
Usher. My Heart Will Go On. Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, right. This record was played 17,000,000,001 times, and I got sick of it each and every time.
Burned out, huh?
Yeah, Celine Dion.
Too Close?
Don't know.
Next. And You're Still the One?
Shania.
Is that the one? You're still the one who can scratch my... Is that another one?
No, that's a different
So what's
one.
the one that I just sang? You're still the one...
That's Orleans.
Who is it? Orleans. Okay. You're still the one who can scratch my itch. You're still the one, you son of a... Well, never mind. No, but I always like that line, you're still the one that can scratch my itch, because my definition of living by yourself is you can itch where it scratches. And you don't have to close the bathroom door if you don't want it. You don't have to put the seat up or down. You can't beat stuff like that. Anyway, how much time do we have here?
The break's 3 minutes long, so we got about 2.5 minutes.
Well, one of these days, I want you to have somebody do me a favor. Maybe Jason. I know he's busy as hell. But reset this clock, because this clock is like about 30 or 40 seconds off, which I assume happened the end result of daylight savings time. Which reminds me, my clock in the car, I still haven't gotten around to changing
Neither
it.
have I.
I have to take the little pinprick thing, and do that whole
Of course, my
number.
clock's been off kilter ever since I ran it through
Well,
inspection. So.
I guess those clocks are digital. But if you would buy a car, as recently as, I say, 20, 25 years ago, first thing to go in the car would be the clock.
Pretty much.
I don't remember any car from the 70s, even a Cadillac, that had a working clock. I'm not making this up. Be the first thing to go. And I mentioned this before, too. Smoking is now so unpopular that they put ashtrays in places that no human being can reach. It is. I don't use my ashtray. I use mine get flipped out the window, which has created some embarrassment, too. But you have to be like a contortionist in order to find the ashtray. And then they give the ashtrays that are so damn small, so teeny tiny in scope. You say, what is this, for crying out loud? I mean, especially a cigar smoker could have a problem there. Anyway, tomorrow, Ed Traviseri and Lance Jones will be aboard. We'll be discussing the up-and-coming concert season. I see Rush is coming to town, too, I think.
Yeah, they are.
I saw Rush was coming in.
Yeah.
Lawrence will be here on Thursday. Elaine, unfortunately, is unavailable. Jane Nugent, Thursday of next week. And what more can I tell you? And we have some other folks that we're working on. And Bill Green next Tuesday. All right, that's great. So I'll be off for a couple of days next week. I've got to attend to a couple of things. We'll break now. Can I break now? Okay, it's AM News Talk 1360.